So today we are going to practice our short answer responses. And in front of you, you should have a worksheet that has 6 short answer prompts on the front and room for 3 short answer responses on the back. Today we are going to walk through one prompt together. I will answer the prompt and talk through my thought process while doing so. You will need to write down my final answer in the top box on the back of your worksheet. It says space essay number 3 as a class. Pay attention because once I've completed my response, you will be expected to answer 2 other prompts on your own. One that has already been selected for you, essay number 6, and one prompt of your choosing from the front side of your worksheet. So, we are going to get started with essay number 3. To start, I'm going to read the directions first. So it says complete prompt number 6 and one additional prompt. Look through your notes, Pearson realize, and at responses from previous Canvas tests to write the best possible answer for each chosen prompt. Each response needs to be at least 4 sentences long. Use correct capitalization and punctuation, and answer the prompt completely. So knowing that, I'm going to read the prompt very carefully. So essay number 3. The medieval period from Charlemagne to the Crusades was dominated by both religion and politics. Providing specific examples and evidence, analyze how religion and politics mixed. So a couple things stand out for me. They've given me a specific time period, okay, so the medieval period, specifically from Charlemagne to the Crusades. So I know that the Crusades is the most recent events that I'm going to talk about. I also notice that it says providing specific examples and evidence. Okay, so I know that I need to talk about very specific events. That way I can prove that I understand this topic. The last thing that stands out to me is examples. It asks for multiple of them. If I just put one, I am not going to fulfill the prompt completely, so I'm not going to get all of the points. So knowing that, I kind of have a better idea of what I am doing. So to start, to me, a really easy way to start an essay or a short answer is to restate the question. Because this question or this prompt has 2 separate sentences, this first sentence is really a great introductory sentence for my essay. So I'm going to write something very similar. So the medieval period was dominated by religion and politics. Specifically during, I'm getting ahead of myself. So specifically, a couple things that stand out to me is I'm given 2 really good options as evidence or examples. So I'm going to use Charlemagne because that's put in the prompt, so I know it fits within the time period. And Charlemagne had a lot of different things happen to him that would kind of prove that religion and politics mixed during this time period. So I know that Charlemagne was a king of a group of people first, and then he went on to become the Holy Roman Emperor. And I remember from different videos that we watched in class and notes that we took that he got his power, his legitimacy as an emperor from the Pope. And to me, that shows religion and politics mixing because a king or an emperor is a political leader and the Pope is a religious leader. So that kind of shows that they are mixing there. So I'm going to write something about that in my response. So specifically during Charlemagne's reign, politics and religion mixed through Charlemagne's legitimacy coming from the Pope. So to me, reading back that sentence, his legitimacy comes from the Pope, but that doesn't really show it doesn't tell my grader or the person grading my essay that I know who Charlemagne is and why that would be a mixing of religion and politics. So I'm going to go back and add. So specifically during Charlemagne's reign, politics and religion mixed through Charlemagne's legitimacy as Holy Roman Emperor, a political position, coming from the Pope, a religious leader. So that to me goes a step beyond and proves that I know that one is a political position and one is a religious position, which would show how they are mixing at that time. I can further go on to say that I know that Charlemagne spread Christianity, so that's even again using his position as king or emperor to spread a religion. So Charlemagne further used his political power to spread Christianity to his lands. Again, to me, that shows that he's using his political power to further the spread of a religion, Christianity in this case. So I've given 2 examples, but I don't have 4 sentences left, so I'm going to keep going. I'm actually going to talk about the Crusades. So I'm going to say, throughout the same time period, I need to think about what I want to put for the Crusades, because yes, the Crusades were a religious event, but how did they become political is kind of what I need to think about. So I know that the Pope called for the Crusades to happen to take back the Holy Land from the Muslims. But how is that political? As I'm thinking about it, I kind of would expect if they were successful, the Pope would then get more land that he would be in charge of, more Christian lands, so he would get more power out of it, which to me is kind of a political thing. Most religious leaders don't need power. So to me, that's more mixing of this religion and politics. So I'm going to put that in my response. So throughout the same time period, several popes, because it wasn't just one that called for the Crusades, used their religious positions to gain political power. The Crusades, if successful, would bring more land, and then more land equals power, and power under the Pope's domain. Okay, I think that answers the question fully, and I think that also justifies 4 or meets the qualifications of 4 sentences, uses capitalization and punctuation. In order to be sure, we need to go back and look at it and just to check our answer. So looking back through my answer, I'm going to read it one more time and check it with the prompt to make sure it follows all the directions and all the instructions. But just looking at it, I think it looks okay. So it says, the medieval period was dominated by religion and politics. Specifically during Charlemagne's reign, politics and religion mixed through Charlemagne's legitimacy as Holy Roman Emperor, a political position, coming from the Pope, a religious leader. Charlemagne further used his political power to spread Christianity to his lands. Throughout the same time period, several popes used their religious positions to gain political power. The Crusades, if successful, would bring more land and power under the Pope's domain. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences, so I have at least 4, so I've got 5. I give 3 different examples of how religion and politics mixed throughout this specific time period between Charlemagne and the Crusades. So to me, this looks like an essay that would receive full credit during a test. So now that you've seen me walk through a prompt and response, you need to answer essay number 6 right here and 1 additional prompt. The additional prompts are on the front. You can choose from 1, 2, 4, or 5. Make sure your responses address all parts of the prompt, use correct capitalization and punctuation, and are at least 4 sentences long. When answering, you can use past notes, Pearson Realize, and your prior knowledge to construct your answers. If you have questions, you can always email me. Otherwise, happy writing!